Oh, I think I knackered that.
You're listening to the Beat Motel.
So try again.
You're listening to the Beat Motel Zine podcast, and we need to warn you that we use words like shit, bollocks, scrotics, fuck, anarcho-syndicalist, and cunt, and we don't normally beep those words out, apart from the word cunt, because we're not total animals. Now, we know as well as you that your children can hear these words on any street in Britain, possibly any street anywhere in the world. But we also appreciate that you may not want to invite these words into your home if you have children or sensitive pets nearby whilst listening to this podcast. So listener discretion is advised. That being said, if your children aren't allergic to hearing words like fuck, shit, buttocks or hind penis, they might learn something from listening to this podcast, although probably not, because the quality of our educational content is quite poor. So there you go, fuckers, buckle in and let's get started.
You're back with Beat Motel. My name's Andrew Culture, and my mate here is Dr. Sam. What do you think I've got there? Sorry, podcast listeners, this is a video thing.
Dates?
Oh, dates. I love dates. No, it's not dates. It's stem ginger in dark chocolate.
Oh.
It's a gift I got at Christmas. It's one of those gifts where you think, it's a bold move, I think. It's a bold guess to kind of guess that somebody would like stem ginger. It's very nice, though. I do like stem ginger, so it was a win.
You seem like the sort of person who would, yeah.
I do look like a stem ginger motherfucker.
Yeah, that's what I think when I see you.
It's in the eyes, isn't it? What have you done? We were just started, and I did wonder if you kind of knocking your laptop over was going to become like a running theme when we first started doing this.
Oh, it's because I don't like the tilt of the camera when it's like this.
No, that's terrible. Just oh no, I'm not going to start moving mine around because I'm just not. Right, so
Maybe if I get lower.
Do you know what, that it always makes me laugh that if Emma had asked me to take a picture of like a landscape or something and she's in it, I always do a version where you can just see her from the eyes up, just like in the bottom corner. It's become, even Izzy does it now, it's become like a running joke. And yeah. Right, let's have riff of the week. This is your riff of the week, Sam. I'm surprised. Who is that?
That is Thomas Ignatius, is the name the guy goes by. And it's basically medieval synth pop. He's actively taking medieval tunes and putting them to like through modern synth stuff. And I love the Bandcamp thing. One of a medieval scholar from the University of Helsinki gives a review. This music is faithful to its medieval sources.
What more could you want from medieval synth pop? That's a lovely. I can be a geek here. That's either a saw wave or a square wave with an LFO modulating it, but it's a very nice sound. But when that really sort of Bell Yamaha DX7 type sound came in, I thought it was possibly going to launch into parody or something. And then I just thought, no, it just sounds nice. It makes sense, though, if it's like a medieval music.
Yeah, I've listened to it. My wife, let's do it out of box stuff. My wife told me about it. It was on. He's been featured in The Wire recently, and they were talking about it in the main newspaper here in Finland. And my wife said, "Oh, you might like this," because occasionally she's quite apt at understanding where my interests lie. And
hey Sam, I know you like synth pop.
or like, oh, this sounds weird. Sam will like this.
Okay, fair point.
I think that's normally her start point. I found myself sort of going, oh, it's a bit gimmicky, and then I sort of listened to the whole album, and I just sort of found it quite peaceful and found myself quite relaxed, and I was like, oh, I like this actually. No, I
think I'm going to give that a listen. Now I know it's kind of a whole album of it. That's not why I wouldn't like disregard it if there wasn't an album of it. But I mean, the prospect of an album of that is quite pleasing. It's something that
he
probably
sings as well. He does the whole medieval like chant stuff.
they don't sound like that at all, do they?
Very pure tones. They didn't. We don't know if they wavered their voice. I don't know if we know if they wavered their voice at all.
If they
like,
did vibrated, I was going to just Beyonce'd it. Yeah, Beyonce live, everything is like, again, sounds nothing like. But
no, but I mean, in like Gregorian chant, it tends to be very pure tones, and like the scale leaping sort of show work seems to be much more of a modern invention, and maybe something more to do with like African American traditions and stuff.
Maybe the Gregorian monks did the vibrato, but only even for the live version.
Or just to themselves, so no one else heard it.
Yeah, on CD, medieval monks, no vibrato at all.
No. Or in fact.
Or in fact, recording. Right, let's go for my riff of the week. This is one that oh, hello. Sorry, one of the neighbour's cats is staring at me through the window. Hello. They've got this look about them like Dougal from Father Ted. They're always like, like just look permanently bewildered by life. Right, I chose this one because I think even 6 months ago, certainly a year ago, this would have just had me on the floor rolling around in laughter, but my opinion's changed. Oh God, it still makes me laugh a lot, but now it makes me laugh, and I think it's fucking brilliant. Just like the technicality is just surely like to anyone that's comical, or am I just in a? Am I?
No, I like no. I think it is. It is like we can. It's sort of a position. Seems to me a position where we can do it, so we're going to do it because it's funny.
It's the little they call them pot swirls. Just like chucking them in every now and then. But
I thought they were called pinch harmonics.
Oh, that's it, pinch harmonics. What's a pot swirl? I think pot swirl might be an electronica where you're fucking around with a cut off or something. I don't know. But it's the vocals again, just bonkers. But it's I'm laughing with joy, not laughing. It really is like laughing with it, not at it. Band's called Archspire, and that's I quite like this title, and I don't know why. That track's called Golden Mouth of Ruin. just a nice collection of words. It doesn't necessarily put together a mental image, apart from perhaps somebody's got something I've recently learned.
Now the vocalist sounds very determined. Do you think he's actually saying anything, or is it just sort of going?
It reminds me of. I remember we were in America. We were watching. A friend Jim was showing us Metalocalypse. It reminds me of that, and there's a Metalocalypse episode where they make a coffee advert. And it's like Duncan Hills Coffee. Dark coffee from the hills of Columbia. Yeah. Scream for your cream. So it just,
I like that. Scream for your cream is good.
It just reminded me of that a lot. But it's such a nice example of joyous metal. And they won't look joyous, of course. See the video for that, they'll look miserable. And I think a lot of people that's leaning more towards death metal, I'm guessing, or sort of tech death, or whatever they call it. I think kind of when you see the performers, they often look like they've just found out their ISA is tanked, or like they've checked their stocks and shares and they've taken a real nosedive, but they've still got to turn up to work anyway. That's it. It's like the fish, the stuck in a small cab with a child that shat itself, and the driver's been eating fish. What's that stinky fish they eat in Norway?
Oh, the dead one. I don't know.
Yeah, it's much easier than eating the live one.
Some eat fermented shark. But yeah, that's like, why do children's farts smell like brie even if they don't eat brie?
I can remember I stood in a really nice bike shop near here once when my daughter was a baby. When she was so small that you could just hold them, we called it a tiger hold, so just hold them just in one arm. And the guy was telling me all the things about this bike. He was like, oh, well, this one's Dura-Ace and it's got this, blah, blah, blah. And she was only a little thing. Just went, and there's all this one. She actually saw like, she was in a onesie, you saw like her nappy get bigger while she was farting. And the guy sort of like tried to keep talking, and you could tell that I didn't, change my expression at all. But you could tell he was like just sort of then going, "Is that child okay?" And I just laughed. I said, "I'm ever so sorry. I think we need to go." But oh god, the smell it leaves as well. It's like you see the red arrows flying. It's like that, but with a smell. Like you can walk through a crowd, and even if they didn't,
I opened this.
Even if they didn't, he had a child. There's people.
Pandora's box.
Do this thing if I'm driving, and Izzy's in the back. Because she's a teenager, she always has headphones on and like just does nothing. And sometimes if I've got a little Tommy squeaker to let out, I'll just let out a little bit of it, just like releasing the cap on a bottle, and you're not sure how fizzy it's going to be. And so obviously she doesn't hear it, and within it's always about 20 seconds. It takes a surprisingly long time. She suddenly just goes, and you hear it in the window open. I think she's looking forward to being old enough to be able to say, "Oh, fuck's sake, Dad! Did something crawl up your arse and die?" And I'll reply,
I don't think she's old enough to say that these days.
I don't think that would be an unreasonable thing. But right, as we said, you made the mistake of talking about scatological humour. So let's move on to the theme for the week.
And the theme for the week is bad band names.
Oh, bad band names. That's better than what I wrote down.
What did you write down?
Bands with shit names.
Bands with shit names. Also that.
But no, bad band names is much more appealing, and it's much less likely to get its shadow banned from iTunes.
Can I ask you something of your selection?
Go for it.
Did you choose Butthole Surfers anywhere?
I did not.
No, because... I thought about it, but I thought they were so big I didn't want to. And they're so much in like the people that we hang out with, they're so much in the consciousness of that. They're great. They're a really great band, but what a fucking terrible band, man.
It is bad, and there is... Oh, I've got a list. I found a list somewhere, because I did some research and to find the absolute worst, and I found a list, which I will read later very carefully, because I don't want to have to spend so I literally just see the top two on the list, and I'm going to have to minimise that, because it's going to be too distracting to be able to see it. Oh, bloody hell, that's awful. Right.
But it's also, the theme is in a way, is like band names who have become to a point successful and sort of have to live with their stupid decisions when they thought they were just going to be a local band.
I've chosen several flavours of awful, each for a different reason, but I think a lot of the times a band's name just becomes it's not a mnemonic, but it stops meaning anything. Yeah, the charlatans, you don't think, oh, those pesky fraudsters. It just becomes synonymous, but some names are so bad.
Yeah, but Charlatans is not a bad name. It's quite a cool name for a band.
Oh, absolutely. No, that's not on my list at all.
Yeah, and like I was looking at a lot of them, and some of them were like, do I think they're bad, or do I think they're, are they actively bad? And I think the ones I chose are all actively bad. Whereas other ones,
subjectively,
yeah. I mean, in a way, I should. There were other ones, Swinging Utters, who are one of my favourite American punk bands of the 90s and early 2000s. I'd be like, what a fucking terrible band name, Swinging Utters. Why didn't I choose them? Why didn't I choose them over Mr. T?
The world of punk, especially pop punk, was my first starting point when I started trying to research it, because I just thought it's easy ground. Let's have your first choice. think this band would also fit another category that I think we've already done. But who was that?
That was the Flying Burrito Brothers with Do Right Woman. What category would it fit for you?
Possibly country, but not shit.
Oh yeah. They were sort of my friend. I I thought when my friend years ago, this is like 20 years ago, I was with a friend and we were in a record shop, and my friend bought the CD from the Flying Burrito Brothers, and I was like, is that a piss take band? How do you take a band? I mean, the music on their first album's great, but how do you take that seriously to start with? How do you like just go, I am going to go and watch the Flying Burrito Brothers? Such a stupid.
You say about bands just choosing names that they then have to live with. And I often think with a band name like the Flying Burrito Brothers, when they signed a big record deal, there will have been a point at which a group of lawyers were sat in a room discussing the Flying Burrito Brothers. And that name is on a contract somewhere. It's just like there must be so many stupid things that pop up. But I know the name. I'm not sure I've ever heard them. I was not expecting them to sound like that. I was expecting
Expecting them to.
the other category would be rubbish album covers, but I don't think we've done that. Because
that's a good one.
The pictures, I'm going to write that down. The picture on the front, they look like they'd sound like some sort of yacht rock band, like the Eagles or something. I was not expecting that, and I quite like that. It's kind of country, but it's not sickly.
Yeah. I mean, I sort of they've always been in my mind, and I actually listened to their album particularly for this podcast, and their first album is very good.
Is it all along those lines? Because it is.
It is. The group is perhaps best known from Wikipedia. The group is perhaps best known for its connection to the band founders Graham Parsons, and Chris Hillman, both formerly of the Byrds.
Right, so Graham Parsons went on to do. Oh God, it's a Simpsons joke. Something about a hovercraft project. I suppose it just called the Graham Parsons Project. And is it Graham or Graham?
It's Graham, like graham crackers.
Oh, see, I always thought they were graham crackers. How's it spelled? Just GRAM?
Yeah.
I'm just writing down awful album covers. But yeah, this podcast has one thing it is definitely done is to infect and upset my my idea of what the world of music is, especially country music, and for that I thank you. Any more Burrito Brothers chat or other bands with the word brothers in it? Chemical Brothers, who were called the Dust Brothers.
My mind's not working fast enough.
I think my mind's
the Hanson Brothers.
I was trying to think, were they called brother? Was it Hanson Brothers or they Hanson?
The Hanson Brothers, because there's the Hansons, or Hanson, which is the awful teeny bop band from the 90s, and there's the Hanson Brothers, who are No Means No doing Ramones core,
really?
playing songs almost exclusively. Well, the first album I think is exclusively about drinking beer and ice hockey.
I did not know that was
because the Hanson Brothers, and they're named after a group of some brothers. I think were they real?
Sam Brain worked good.
Sam Brain worked good. Hanson. So they took the name from a film from a film called Slapshot, which was a great film. Really cool.
I've not seen that.
Paul Newman stars in it, and the Hanson Brothers were known as it's what a lot of ice hockey films, grown-up ice hockey films are about. It's like the end of the sort of the meathead era, and they're all worried about these people who, and the Hanson Brothers were the sort of the meatheads, the guys who just sort of batter people and don't really have any skill.
Have you ever been to an ice hockey game?
I have been to one, yes.
Oh wow, really? Where was that?
It was in Washington DC, the Capitals, with my friend James, who used to live in DC. And I should really go. I'm waiting until Martin's a bit older, but it's then like the national sport here.
I'd go. We went to Helsinki Festival and we saw a bunch of bands playing in the ice hockey bit. Floor was really nice. I don't know why I remember that, but it was really, really clean. But I guess it would be if they.
Oh no, the Finns are very good at putting their garbage where it should be, rather than just dropping it.
Oh, there's somebody who walks past this house every day and eats. You get these awful like croissants, like long life croissants with jam in the middle. And like anything, like any pastry like has had something done to it that it's got like a 3-year best before date, and they must finish eating it and they drop the fucking packet outside our house every day. I don't think I've been outside without having to pick up rubbish for ages.
That's amazingly routine.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like if you're going to be a jerk, then why not make it a routine?
Well, I mean, one of the things about the snowing, we're having a warm spell here in Helsinki, and so there's a lot of melt around, and you see a lot of dog shit that should have been collected and is collected in the summer, frankly, but fucking arseholes think they can get away with it in the winter.
Oh, it's like stealth shit as well. Because if it's like in snow, then your kid goes out to play with snow and gets. Yeah. Let's move on. See, I'm happy to talk about shit, but like dog shit, it's just nothing. It's like dog shit and cat shit. It's just I'm sorry, there's no humor. It's like how stand-up comedians, like some things just don't joke about. It's never going to be funny.
My son is very amused by it at the moment, so I find it quite funny.
What finding?
He just points at. Yeah, he just points at. We're walking home, and he just goes, "Look, Dad, dog poo."
Okay, well, that the child's perspective does add a bit of shine to it. Speaking of shine, I used to. People really don't. The dog people really they're just dog shit on pavements. Thankfully, compared to the 80s where it seemed to be like up to your knees in it all the time. And I remember the first time I stood in it, I was wearing socks and sandals, and that's the only time I ever caught a bus with my mum. And I don't know if that put her off ever doing it again. But
wearing socks and sandals?
Like it was like 1980.
This bespeaks your religious upbringing.
Oh well, yeah, I was clearly modelled after Jesus. But when we
sock sandal wing.
Oh Sam! Oh man! Right, I've got to write down what time that was. Right, that's it. I'm just going to use swear words later on. Don't just keep doing it. But that list of band names, I am going to. 23 seconds.
I'm sorry.
Sam said. Right. But when we first moved here, we haven't got front garden, so you literally step out straight onto the pavement. And I think Graham was round here, and he stepped out and walked home, and he must have stepped in someone must have had it was either a horse or a very large dog that shat right by a thing, and he just trailed it down the street. That's worse than there just being a shit. Someone smears it like melted butter down tarmac. So after that, every time someone let their dog shit outside our house, I'd spray it silver with like paint that you get on spray to make it all glittery. And my logic was it would draw attention to it. And other people have done this. The where Izzy was at primary school, there was a path which we called the poo path, because every time someone let their dog shit there, somebody would get bright pink fluorescent car paint and draw a circle around it. And it doesn't stop people doing it. All we had here was outside the hand, we just had all these weird silhouettes, like the cliche thing in movies where someone's died and they draw an outline of where they were. It's like that, but with dog shit. And they're still doing it up by her old school, so it clearly makes no difference. What I did once to see if it would make a difference is I went to Poundland or somewhere and I bought a little construction toy car set. So it was a little crane, a little tractor, and a dump truck, those things with the big buckets on the front. And somebody left a massive, huge dog shit on the pavement outside the house, so I constructed a little scene around it. That didn't make any difference either. Probably somebody just stood on it and hurt their feet. But anyway. Then's the time that I got dog shit smeared around my crotch. I'll save that story for another time. Just to say it wasn't deliberate. Although I was telling that story walking through town once, this bunch of lads walking behind us actually coming towards us actually stopped. Oh, fuck's sake, man! What is wrong with you? Right, let's play my first selection. This is a golden bit.
This is a golden episode so far.
Oh, that was abrupt. I think I know what happened then. I got a phone call while I was clipping that, and I assumed it would carry on recording. That was, before I tell you who it was, on Tidal, have you ever gone to look at your favourites? And, you know, when something comes up I like, press the little favourite thing so I don't forget it. And sometimes I go back and look at my favourites and play something and just go, why did I like that? And this one's a good excuse. This is... It's 3 crucifixes in a row. So if your band name is something that you have to put something in brackets after it, so it's like 3 crucifixes in a row and then in brackets 3 crosses, I just fuck off. I'm not even going to intellectualize it. Just fuck off.
There's also another band that has 3 exclamation marks.
Oh, chick. Some of their stuff's actually quite good. I'm not just a completely about face.
I'm sorry, unless you're Prince and you're trying to get out of an exploitative and exploitative contracts, you can fuck.
Is that why he changed to a symbol to get out of a contract?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
He wasn't just going crazy.
There was a band from Canvey Island or somewhere for years, like a biker band, sort of blues thing called Dumpy's Rusty Nuts.
Oh, yeah.
And they put out a press release when Prince changed his name. They put out a press release saying they were no longer going to be called Dumpy's Rusty Nuts because Prince wasn't using his name anymore, so they were going to use it. I just thought just lovely. Just a lovely, lovely thing. But yeah, fuck knows why I thought that band was good. I didn't like that at all. So yeah,
are they upside down crosses?
No, it is literally just. There are other examples. Alt J is the famous one. Alt J's name isn't Alt J. It's the symbol you get on a Windows computer when you're typing and you hold down Alt and J. It's like a triangle with a thick side on one side. But then, yeah, that's actually what they're called. But if you name your band something like that, no one's going to find you. We talked about in the last episode how bands change the spelling of their name to make themselves findable. If you've got just symbols, then you're screwed, aren't you? Sam's got his research face on. All confused face. Are you still there with us? Oh, I think...
I'm trying to press Alt-J.
Oh, no, you are still there. Okay.
I'm trying to do Alt-J. It's just
not doing anything. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I'm not a Windows sufferer. I'm a Mac sufferer. Linux is the punk rock operating system, but I'm not clever enough for that.
No, punk rock isn't very user-friendly.
That's a lovely quote. Right, let's go for your next choice. And it sounds like this. Who's that?
That was Dananananaykroyd.
Oh, see, I thought it was Dananananaykroyd. Danananana, D-A-N-A-N-A. Oh, God, I can't see it. There's too many N's and A's in a row. My eyes can't differentiate them.
So I bought... the track is called All Us Authors, and it's from their second album, and that was produced by Ross Robinson, who's very well known for producing a lot of new metal bands.
Ah.
And it's a great album. I really, really like that album. And they called it quits after that. So I think basically it was like, let's give this another go. It's not working out. But it's a really good album. It's got a really, really sort of infectious melody. But they are sort of like, they are in. There's a load of bands that do this sort of thing. They take famous names and sort of do a pun with them. And they're so fucking annoying.
What other ones? I know.
There's Peggy Goo, Meryl Streep, Ringo Death Star, Joy Orbison, Chet Faker, Joanna Gruesome. It just winds me up so much.
There was a Belinda Carbuncle. Was another one that they were from Kent or somewhere. Oh, Janet Street Slaughter. That was from Bury St Edmunds. Thing is, it doesn't get past that's minorly funny, and it then blights your career.
That's the sort of thing they're the names that people say in the pub, and you just go, yeah, that's funny, but shit. Let's ignore that suggestion.
There's another two in Ipswich, and I can't bloody. One of them's like Ipswich's only hardcore band, and they've been slogging it away for years. Oh shit, what are they called? Oh, there's another one, something Gandalf. It's called Gandalf's Sleeve or something. Oh shit! Oh, that's it. Rad Pit. Yeah. Oh, they might listen to this actually. Hello, guys, if you're listening. They're actually terrible band name, but decent band. I'm always really cheered to see them. They always seem to play Ipswich Music Day, which is. Have you ever been there for Ipswich Music Day?
No.
It's quite cool. It's. God, they have like 100,000 people go to the big park one of the big parks in the centre of town, Christchurch Park, and there'll be 7 or 8 stages, and it's mostly just awful covers bands and people badly playing the blues. But there's one stage. It's now called the Ed Sheeran stage, and I've played on it in a few bands, where they let people with guitars playing alternative music, and I always really cheered to see Rad Pit play, because like everybody, all the local punks and hardcore kids always go and see him, and you walk past and there'll be like a circle pit in the middle of the park, and the whole of the rest of the day it's just people sat in deck chairs drinking cider.
You've made me think I'd really like to see a hardcore band play or metal band play a bandstand, and a circle pit going around the bandstand.
You have redeemed the entire episode. You dragged it out of the shit quite literally with that one absolutely genius suggestion. Oh man, I want to make that happen so much.
Oh, you need someone with like a camera drone to capture it properly as well.
That's just absolute genius, Sam. It is absolute genius.
Shout out to Dananananaykroyd. You have a terrible band name, but your second album is brilliant.
I'm going to listen to it because there's a lot of elements to that. I love that kind of. It's not quite pop punk. It's beyond that, and it's got a lot of thought put into the production. It's got a lot of little bits in it that I didn't hear the little weedly sort of high screechy bits, as we always call it. I didn't hear the screechy bits when I first listened to it, but I really enjoyed listening back to that. It was better than the 11 seconds of 3 crosses in a row. That song, actually, the 3 crosses one, was Vivien, which I assume is a homage to the Young Ones.
Oh.
Right, let's move on to my next choice, which is a band I'm getting a bit like Burst. I'm going to have to knock it on the head soon, but it's this band again. That's Agriculture. Listening to that on headphones, there's singing in the background there, and there's synth stuff, and like really, really, really low down in the mix.
So, what other ones could you have? Agriculture. You could have farming,
horticulture, arboriculture, which is trees. Andrewculture, which is me.
Andrewculture. That's been done.
No. Oh yeah, I broke that mold. So I love that band clearly, and I'm going to have to just stop playing them on this podcast because it's just getting silly. Oh, Sam's smoke alarm's going off.
Dishwasher.
Ah, right. Yeah, ours has just finished as well. Sound sound effects are brilliant. That's the fantastic thing about you having Bluetooth headphones is that you can go anywhere and we can still hear you. You've never gone for a wee during a podcast.
I've not hit that yet. Maybe if you tell another poo story, I might
You just wander off while I'm telling the story. But yeah, agriculture. It's just an awful name. It's just a crap name. It's just I can't even really go into why, other than the fact it's just pointless searching for them on YouTube.
I thought a few like metal band names I didn't get. It was not agriculture. It's just a bad band. Deftones. I recently read about them, and they almost got signed to. They signed initially to Madonna's imprint Maverick, and they almost signed apparently to Roadrunner. But the guy who signed them sort of said to them, change your band name, it's shit. Because I didn't realize there's Americanism, but deaf, spelled DEF.
Yeah, like means, deaf. That's deaf.
Yeah, and he just went, oh, shit name.
I always thought Deftones is a fucking brilliant name. I really like it because there was loads of 60s and 70s soul bands with like tones, or jazz bands possibly.
There was also a thing about Obituary. They changed their name as well.
Did what?
Yeah, hold on. Obituary was first known as Executioner, and then they dropped the E from the beginning of the name.
I was going to go and see Obituary at Colchester Arts Centre a few weeks ago and couldn't be asked. It's really, really sad, but just couldn't be asked.
There's also the band Savatage, who I've never heard of before.
Sabotage.
Terrible name.
Do you think?
Sabotage. Savage. Sabotage.
Oh, no, that's shit. If it was Sabotage, that would be like a hardcore band or something. But the thing is, once you've had a band in history, back in time, having a massive hit single, you're always going to get bands that are named after that. So Sabotage probably wouldn't be hardcore. They're probably like white people doing hip hop or something.
No, Sabotage is like a heavy metal band.
So you are saying Savotage, aren't you?
No, Savotage.
Oh, it keeps getting worse every time I think I hear something new in it. Yeah, let's move on from that. But that was Relier, Relier by Agriculture. But love the band, but yeah, not good. It doesn't matter because I've actually ordered a patch from their Bandcamp. They're from.
Do they have like one of those illegible logos?
Oh, completely. I mean, it's completely
okay. Well, that saves a lot of death metal, and black metal sort of stuff, doesn't it? Because otherwise, you have to actually live with agriculture. Is it like a patch which has a image of a field in it as well?
Yeah, there's wheat. I can see that it is. Oh man, I used to know the names of all the different wheats and barleys because I used to. God, this is so cliche for a country mouse. I used to work in grain stars during the harvest. That's a story for another time. It does involve some shit actually, but anyway, let's play your next choice. Who's that?
That's the Mr. T Experience with Book of Revelation, which is I really like some of their early stuff, Mr. T Experience. And like you, the starting point for a lot of this episode's sort of choice was the pop punk world, and this is pop punk world of late 80s, early 90s, California, I believe. I don't know anything that's true at all. Um, and it was sort of them or the Queers, but I actually think a band name called that's called the Queers. That's fucking cool, actually.
No, I was going. Yeah, I'd rail back against that. I think the Queers is a fantastic name. It
Even if
answers.
they are not queers.
It it fits the bill so well for such a specific type of punk rock. I thought that I'm disappointed. Disappointed they're not gay. What an odd thing to say, but it makes it more abrasive. I think Pansy Division was on my long list, but I thought no, actually Pansy Division for a gay band, they definitely are gay. There's no doubt that. I thought that's actually quite brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I think Black Flag, and I said Black Fag, not Black Flag.
Mm-hmm.
They one upped the Queers, and they were a queercore band.
There's several. There's Limp Wrist, or another kind of queercore, which I guess it's queercore, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the term for music that sounds like everything else in punk rock. Just the lyric theme tends to be about being gay or queer, which sort of gives you an eye into like the. It's like calling bands that sing from a woman's perspective, or punk rock bands from a womancore or something. Or girlcore. Yeah, because it's just basically saying the only thing that defines you is the lyrics and your sexuality.
So if your band only sung about orchards and the cultivation of cider, you'd be an applecore band.
Yeah. Well, like I understand the need for something like Riot Girl or Queercore. I just think it's sad that there's a necessity to sort of muscle into a scene that's supposed to be so inclusive.
Oh God, this it's a much longer discussion, but the whole punk hardcore scene is very problematic. I think it's some elements are better now, but we've seen shit at punk rock festivals. There's just despicable behaviour, just awful, for all sorts of reasons. Anyway, let's keep this on the up and
keep this scatological.
Well, almost actually. So the first band, I've chosen this different reasons for a name being awful. So the first one, the Three Crosses, is just awful because it's not a word. That's probably what troubles me. Actually, it's not a word. Agriculture is awful just because it's just so meaningless. Although it does interest me that perhaps with the squirrely logo, metal bands, the actual words and thing aren't as important as the symbology or some other shit.
Yeah, but you need to talk about them in some way, don't you? And therefore,
it's the thing. You can't say like I really like that band that's got like the quite close lines in the top left-hand corner of their cipher, and then it loosens towards the bottom, but about 60% in, there's some circle. That doesn't work, does it? It's much easier just to say agriculture. So the third band I have chosen because in the early days of the internet, I quickly learned that some band names you shouldn't do image searches for. Actually, before I play this, listen to I've played this band before, but listen to the lyrics, and then okay. I don't know why that was so quiet. Did you get any of the lyrics?
No, I know that's Prolapse.
It's Prolapse, yeah. I love the guy's voice, Mick. I've never got a clue what on earth he's saying, but I really like thick regional accents in bands, because it doesn't happen very often. Always cheers me to hear it.
Well, that's fair enough.
That was Killing the Bland by Prolapse, which is the worst image search ever. So yeah, that was my reasoning for the worst the worst name ever, and I think probably don't need to dwell on that all that much. Probably a lot of metal.
What's your favourite album of theirs?
Italian Flag is
Italian Flag.
No, actually, the first album is the best album, and it's Pointless Walks to Dismal Places, which again is just a lovely name. Right, let's move on to your final. I think you've kept the worst or the best, depending on your perspective, till last. Here we go.
That was Psychedelic Porn Crumpets with the song Nootmare.
I was not expecting them to sound like that. With a name like that, I was expecting it just to be just crap, basically. But there was some appeal to there. Is this a band you like?
They're okay. I've listened to a few of their things, and I just the name's just terrible. It's just sort of, again, it's sort of that band name alongside it's in that sort of pub discussion band name, and everybody just goes, yeah, that's shit, and we're not going to do that, and then they forget that they said that was shit, and they end up having a bit of a following, and they're going, shit. Musically, it reminds the beginning of it reminded me of an Irish band called that I also have a terrible band name who are called And So I Watch You From Afar, and that's another thing I haven't delved into this, but the use of sentences as band names annoys me. ... and You Will Know Us by the Trail of the Dead also annoys me. It's a great album name. Terrible band name.
Yeah, there was a band in Ipswich. Emo bands were particularly bad for long band names, and there was a band called, and it also bugs me when they start with the word "and," because it's just, you're grammatically wrong, and that troubles me. They were called And I Will Take You On for a Race Around the World, and I Will Win, and I Will Eat Your Face. And I just when they started, I was like, I'm never going to book you, because I don't have to make that flyer. Just that reason. You've reminded me as well that there was a band from Woodbridge when I was a teenager called Maniac Pot Noodle Death.
There was a playing with a band once in Portsmouth. I think it was Portsmouth, called Mighty Snorton Powder Rangers.
That's just quite funny. It's better than friend Ian Crow, who produced all the Zeeb stuff. He was in a band called Edible Vomit, which, you know what they sound like? They're going to sound like that sort of frat boy hardcore thrash metal, like you know what I mean? Baseball cap. I always think it was like baseball cap thrash metal.
And to be fair, the band name for my band in Brighton wasn't great either.
What, Pissed Resistance? I thought that was a brilliant name. It was. It's just great. It's alliteratively pleased. Is it Pissed Resistance? It's not alliterative. It's just a nice grouping. When I hear nice groupings of words, I make notes of them. So,
well, I was also pleased with that. I mean, I liked it. Was sort of like stupid wordplay, and then our album became known as is titled The Lost Path of Pissed Resistance.
The Lost Path or part?
So yeah, the lost Path of Pissed Resistance as a play on the path of least resistance.
That's brilliant. I've got a list here, which I'm going to save my list of things that I think are quite funny and just sort of nice pairings. But first of all, I'm going to read the list of bad band names that I found on the Louder Than War website, and I will link to this in the show notes. And I'm just going to have to make a note. So the 50-minute mark is when I'm going to have to do more editing, because the first. Do you want from number 1 down?
Surely number 1 is anal.
No, it's not anal. I'm going to do it backwards because no, I can't be asked. I'm just going to read it from top to bottom. So the first one, aborted Hitler cock. So bad. I shouldn't even laugh. Anal blast, who I think you may have heard of. Anal vomit, which is just. Oh god, that actually makes you feel a bit nauseous. Arse pounder, I have heard of this one. Bathtub shitter.
Yeah.
The broken penis orchestra.
What does that sound like?
I don't know. It's the
sad, I would imagine.
The performance name of Plunderphonics artist Stan Reed. What's Plunderphonics? Oh, actually, I do kind of know what Plunderphonics is. It's I can't remember. Cheap Knob Gags. They're a techno act, apparently. There's one that I'm just not going to read. I'm not going to read that one either. Cock and Bull Torture. Grindcore, clearly. The Cum Shots. Oh, God, I'm going to so regret this when I have to edit it. Evil Edna's Horror Toilet. which I love. I think that's actually quite brilliant. Are you old enough to know Evil Edna?
No.
It was Will o' the Wisp was a TV program, kids TV program that was narrated by Kenneth Williams, bizarrely, and there was a talking television in it called Evil Edna. Fanny Bloom, Corpse Fucking Art, Fuck Off and Die, Fuck I'm Dead, Fuck Shit Up, The Fuck Ups, Fucked Corpse. Just know what they're going to sound like. Get Fucked, Motherfuckers, Piss Shit Fuck. I bet this will be the bit that the software automatically clips, and I'll get like booted off Instagram for it. Oh, there are some that I'm just not going to say because I just think it's not just too unpleasant to even be funny. Considering I started with aborted Hitler cock or whatever it was. Hot buttered anal.
Not burn.
I quite like this one, and I don't know why. Howling Willy. Like, oh, Willy spelt like Willie Nelson, obviously. I shit on your face. Kiss the kiss the anus of a black cat. Midget hand job.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Have you really?
I don't know why.
Oh, Natalie Portman's shaved head.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, just the thing is, like the humor of it really does just like diminish the more you say it, and it must be far worse actually being in the band. I'm just going to close that, and I'm not going to link to it because there's too much unpleasantness there that I don't wish to propagate around the world. But it's quite a list and quite an edit. So to counter that,
Polly Darton is another terrible band name. I'm going to change subject slightly.
Yep, good.
I wanted to call a band recently the Holy Willies.
It's just Willies is just funny.
Oh yeah. I proposed another band name which was Donna A Cab.
Donna A Cab. Oh man, I didn't get it at first, but when I then sort of said it, it's just wonderful. Oh man, I know someone who probably would start a band called that. That's Donna A Cab. I love that.
There's also Piss Mover, which I quite liked. Premium Cock. These are suggestions of band names now.
Yeah, so they're free if anyone wants them.
Spelled K-O with an umlaut K.
Oh man.
What else?
I'm gonna rattle.
Bin Juice.
Bin Juice is quite good. Oh, there was a band from Bury St Edmunds called the Bin Men, which I thought was a very awful name.
Spit Shine Anus?
Have you literally got these written down?
It's a game I play with my friend Al. We sometimes send terrible band name suggestions in intestinal transit.
I like that. Oh man, I'm going to rattle off my list because actually I'm looking at it. I just write these things down. Filth Biscuits, knackered. Excuse me. Knackered Chakras, which I quite like. I don't know why. Just puke. So again, these are not real band names, but you can have them if you want. Puke Biscuits, Fur Machine, Shabby Tabby. I
can imagine a band a band called Shabby Tabby.
What sort of music? Because I think they'd be like rockabilly.
No, I was sort of thinking slightly fey, like indie punk.
Yeah, I know the kind of thing you mean. Oh, Towers of London, that was an awful band name. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. My wife had a good one, sorry to interrupt now, right. Which was Seaborn Ovulation.
Nearly thumped the desk then, forgetting there's a microphone attached to it. That's just wonderful. How about, I've got Labour Saving Caveman. Angry Flap. Oh dear, that's me. And then it says getting started with docs, and I'm assuming that when I imported this list I use Obsidian for notes. I'm assuming that's just a startup guide. Oh yeah, because the next one is example text spec, and actually no, that could work. That could work. Getting started with docs is quite fun, especially if you use DOX, like getting started with docs thing. Right, we'd better. We're running out of time, so I'm going to play your last. Oh, my last choice.
Yeah.
So my last choice is. Oh shit! I've lost my list now. Trying to be too clever and look at too many things. Right. So my final one is an awful band name, and you know this band, but you might not recognise this song. I'd never heard this before. Any guesses?
That sounds pretty cool.
Do you want to guess an era? Or rough stab at a year?
That could be anywhere from the late 80s onwards, or mid 80s onwards.
You're pretty close. That's Seymour, who, when they signed to Food...
Not Seymour Butts.
No, Seymour, who, when they renamed to Food, became Blur.
Oh.
And that's a song called Dizzy. And I'd not heard that, and I was genuinely surprised I'd not heard it, because when Blur released their second album, they did something that I still think is cool. The B-sides for, I think, Chemical World and Sunday, two of the singles, they put all their demos from when they were called Seymour on as B-sides. I think to stop them becoming like extremely rare bootlegs or whatever. And those recordings are really good, but that's clearly like a really super scrappy one. But you can hear elements of later Blur in there. So obviously, once you know what it is, it's like, yeah, it makes sense.
There was very much because it's the sound isn't great when I'm listening here. There was an element of like East Coast American sort of early hardcore experimentation sort of stuff.
That makes a lot of sense, because I can remember reading interviews with Blur, second album period, and Graham Coxon was saying that he'd always been obsessed with American hardcore, and when he started doing his solo stuff, that very much came out. That was, it wasn't hardcore, but there were so many elements of it in there that were so obvious. But yeah, I thought you'd enjoy that. I thought I'd just put that in as just a little nugget.
Nice.
A little nugget just at the end. Just a little oral treat. There you go, oral treat. That would be a bad band name. Can you do that metal face again? I really enjoyed that. It works better for you because you've got the beard. I just look like I'm having a stroke. Right, I need to wrap it up there. So, is there anything you want to add? Do you want to give us? I was wondering if we ought to end each episode with like thought for the day from you or something.
I came across a Finnish saying today that I liked, which was, I don't know if it's a Finnish saying, but I'm taking it as a Finnish saying, which is, life isn't always work and paying taxes. Sometimes it's also eating different cheeses with different crackers.
That's a thing. Oh man, ocean-bound ovulation, was it? Or seaborne ovulation?
Seaborne ovulation.
Seaborne ovulation. Oh, this has been an absolute treat. And I hope I'm going to have fun editing it because we said the word a lot.
What?
I was going to say, do you want to get in the last one? Do you want to get in a really theatrical one that will be really difficult for me to edit? Oh, that's too easy. I thought you'd go long. Actually, I thought you'd elongate it.
No, I'm still too embarrassed to sort of do these things. That sort of thing.
Right, you've been listening to the Seaborne Ovulation podcast. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to say bye bye. Bye bye. Are you going to say goodbye, Sam?